Hello everyone, welcome to Pick Up Play. Going to do something a bit different today. It's actually something I want to do throughout the year, and so this is the intro to it, the starting point, if you will. And so to explain, basically, the name I give for this channel is Pick Up Play, and it came out of a podcast I was doing with a friend where we were both guilty of buying a lot of games, particularly during lockdown. And not playing them. We just buy more and more and more. So the point was, we did this podcast where the point was that we'd play. We talked about what we pick up, but we'd have to play it as well. It didn't. It was very much a one-sided thing where one of us played the games and the other one not so much. Anyway, so I thought I'd do this channel. It was a way to either maybe do a video version of that podcast or do that just as I have been doing with Dreamcast Roulette and some of the Saturn videos I've done, where the point is to play some of the stuff that is in the collection that you can see behind me. Yeah, play some of the games that I've got, and that tied with I used to do reviews for a website, and back then I used to complete, I don't know, 70, 80 games a year. I used to complete so much. Particularly, there was a spell where I was unemployed when I did it, and yeah, I had quite a lot of time on my hands to complete some of that stuff. But even when I had a full time job, I was working really hard to sort of get stuff played and beaten for review, and some of it was like picking up games that I knew were fairly short, so we could get content up quick and so on and so on. So as it is the last few years, it's slipped back down, and we'll get to it, what I've actually completed this year. I should say I'm recording this on the 23rd. It's about 10 o'clock at night on the 23rd of December, to give me a week to maybe edit this together, cut out a lot of my ramblings and maybe edit in some footage of some stuff. As I said, I don't complete as many games as I did, and what I've found is over the past couple of years in particular, my nights have just been kind of disappearing. I get home, when I commute, it's a long commute. It's about 2 hours each way, and it's sort of dead time when I'm doing it. I just listen to music and look out of a window or browse the internet or something. So chat to people on WhatsApp, which is fine. Chatting to friends, that's fine. But it's not. My nights can vanish. I can get home and just sit here, cook, eat food, sit here, and before I know it, I haven't done anything. But the night's over. I've just watched fucking cat videos on YouTube Shorts and stuff. So yeah, I need to make better use of it, better use of my time, better use of my evenings. I need to focus more. Even if that is sort of, I was going to say dual wielding, multitasking and watching football whilst playing a game or a TV program whilst doing, which is something I do anyway, but maybe get a bit more diligent on that. Not the best way of living, but Anyway, so the task then, the thing I am setting myself to do is complete an average of one game a week. So 52 games beaten in 2026. That is the task I've set myself. Again, we'll get to what I've done this year in terms of completing stuff, but it's less so, just to clarify, it's less so about this magic number. It's not about hitting it at all costs, and if I'm running low, I need to really just nail a bunch of stuff that's dead short. That's not really the point. The point is to stop frittering away my nights doing nothing. You can argue that gaming is that anyway, but whatever, But it's just to tick some stuff off and play some of the stuff I've got and play new experiences. So to do that, I've set up some rules. So like I say, it doesn't have to be one a week. It can be 2 in a month, but then back it up. Catch up later on, which is what tends to happen. If you're playing a huge RPG or something, you may be just playing that, and that's it for a week and a half, 2 weeks or something, or longer. So, the rules. So some of these are set in stone. These are they're in bold on my notes. Rule one in bold. Seeing credits counts. So there is a slight caveat to this, but generally speaking, if I get to the end of a game, I've seen the credits, it doesn't matter if it's you need to pick up all these pages and speak to this person and do this, then you actually get the true ending. Doesn't matter. If I want to do that, I can do that, that's fine. But credits count. That is it. Done. I can carry on playing, but if I want to move on, that is it. It's not an endurance test. It's not make it as difficult as possible. It is purely see what you can do, get as much done as you can. It also means that where it gets slightly fuzzier is you take something like, say, Near Automata. You see credits on that quite that early, but that is not the end of the game. There is more to play. There's actually a game on my completed games list from this year that would be a good example of this. That the credits aren't the end of the game. You need to keep playing, and that is the point of it. Rule 2. Cannot beat the same game twice. So, effectively what that means is, if I were to beat, I don't know, Resident Evil on PS5, and then pick it up on the PC later in the year when it's cheaper, wouldn't count. I can play it, I can do it, I could do that, I can add it to my own personal list, but for the interest of this, that would not count. It also means I couldn't say play Resident Evil, get to the end of it. So Resident Evil 4 is a prime example of this. Unlock the sort of new game plus with the better weapons and all that, and then go and just tear through the game. And I've beaten again, I've beaten again, I've beaten again. It's gone from a 20-hour game to a 8-hour game to a 4-hour game, right? That's not the point of this. The point is to keep playing stuff, play new stuff. However, again, there's grey areas with this, and I've got props. I've got props to explain it. Sonic. Let's get the light off it. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 on the Mega Drive. If I were to play this, and this is... Jesus, there we go. This is not the best way to play this game. It's 50 Hz. You know, it's noticeably slower. As a kid, I didn't mind it, but I really like Sonic 1 for what it's worth. But anyway, that would count as one game. If I were then to play Sonic Jam on the Saturn, which I actually might do, because I haven't played this since I was a teenager, I could play Sonic 1 on this. It'd run a lot better. Would still only count as one game. I could play Sonic 1 on the Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube. Still only count as one game. I could play the PC version, the disc PC version. I've actually got a Steam. We don't need to know about all the versions, but this is actually Sonic Mega Collection Plus, and it says on it, plus Sega Game Gear games, Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Chaos, Sonic Drift, Sonic Labyrinth, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and Sonic Blast Now. This actually, if it still works, is quite an interesting thing, because some of those games I wouldn't maybe mind playing. I've played a few of them. I played Sonic Chaos and Sonic the Hedgehog on the Master or the Game Gear. Sonic Blast. But I can't capture those things, so outside of emulation, so maybe that's worth doing. One game. Still only one game. Even this, which is a really good version of it, it's the 3D one for the 3DS. So you get, the Sonic on there, and it's all the sort of layers to it and all that. It's a really cool version of that game, but still only count as one game. However, there is an exception. To get a big prop. Sonic the Hedgehog on the Game Gear or the Master System, which there is a video on the channel of the Master System version, is a different game. It's different levels, different level design, different rules, different physics, different everything. It's a very different game. It's a great game. I really like it, but it is a different game. Therefore, if I beat the Mega Drive one on whatever of those, and then beat the Game Gear one, even if I beat it on the PC, that's two games beaten. So that's how we're doing this. You can have Resident Evil 4, the GameCube original. You can't have Resident Evil Wii, because even though it's different controls, it's the same game. But you could have Resident Evil 4 PS5. Different game. I think that's explained it. Rule 3. So kawaii. I can't include anything that I've beaten in 2025. Now, I'm going to walk this through. So I have my list from this year. Like I said, it's recording on the 23rd. I actually beat a game this morning, or this afternoon, which is on the list. the Midnight Walk, which is I quite enjoyed. It's a good game. So yeah, there's bits where I found it a bit could have done without it, but the it's got weird tension to it. It's like it gets quite full on at points. It's a good game. I like it. So let's go to the list. So mouthwashing was probably last New Year's Day. I remember beating it fairly early. It's quite a short game. Really liked that game. It was in my Game of the Year list last year. Really, really liked it. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Now, I'm not going to go through that again, obviously. It's too long, but that would have took me quite a while. Silent Hill 2 also took me a decent amount of time. But again, would fall into that category of a game where I could play it again because you get the chainsaw at the start. I had to boot it up to try the ray tracing and found the chainsaw. So that is a game that I could play through again, have it more ray tracing on than I had on my old graphics card, and yeah, have an easier time playing it, a different experience playing it. Maybe go for a different ending, but it wouldn't count. I could do that quite easily, but it just would not count on this list, on this video. So back to the list. Cats Around Us. We'll get back to that. This is one I want to talk about in a bit, but there's another example of it. Freddy Farmer. There's a video on the channel of this. It's all right. It was surprisingly difficult. Took me quite a while to do. Yeah, hard but short. Level Devil, really, really liked it. It's actually in my top 10 for the year. Loved that game. I think, again, there's a video on the channel. Spilled, there's a video on the channel. Fun, fairly easy, or very easy. Just nice little game. South of Midnight. This is where my gaming time slowed down a bit for sort of a few reasons. Because I played South of Midnight on my laptop. It was when my PC was... I was changing some parts, and the parts arrived faulty. It took me about a month to get it all fixed and everything. So I was... even though I've got all these other things to play stuff on, I think I was playing a couple of other things on... I was making use of the PS5 more and stuff, so playing different games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Hyperstone Heist, Mega Drive and PS5. So I'm going to use this as an example. I don't own Hyperstone Heist on the Mega Drive that is behind me. I don't, it's too expensive. And I liked it. I've got a lot of nostalgia for it because I played it as a kid. Hence being the only game on the collection that I played. So, were I to have... Let's say I played that on PS5 this year, 2026. If I then bought a copy of the Mega Drive, or bought a Mega Drive copy of the game, played through it, beat it, that would not count. Because I've already played it. It's the same game, just on PS5, right? Equally, this was 2025 that I played it. It means that this year, I cannot beat that. Even if I went to buy it on Mega Drive, I couldn't. It wouldn't count. So that's an example of a game that, even though it's going to be on a different platform, it's the same game. So a year apart, I can't. It won't count. So moving back to the list. I don't know if I explained that very well. Claire Obscure, great game, really good game, award winning all over the place. Would have took quite a while. Also, why it probably slowed down around this point of the year. Zombie Revenge. For the Dreamcast, I played for Dreamcast Roulette. It's quite a short game. I really enjoyed it. Balatro PS5, again, wouldn't count this year because I played it on PC the year before, so under these rules would not count. Doom the Dark Ages, really enjoyed it. Yeah, one of my games of the year, maybe my game of the year. Tower Full of Cats. So, to go back to this, because we talked about Cats Around Us as well. I have a bit of a habit of buying these. Basically, these games are like hidden cat games. Like hidden. I'm not cat obsessed. I don't own a cat. But they're like hidden object games where you have to just find, like, there's 35 cats in this scene. You have to try and find them all. They're just good, chilled. I've had a long week. I've had a long month or whatever. I just need to... So I'm just going to click on this computer. I'm just going to... It's relaxing. They're free. They're short. You can be... both of these are all beaten in a night. I don't want these to be a reliance on getting through the list of just kind of going, I just beat like 10 of these and that's it. So I actually have one. I bought one on the PS5 today for 99p. So there is going to be one on that list, but I'm not going to make a habit of it. We'll get to all this later on. Dead Trash, great game, exactly what the list is for. Same for the X8. Cool, short, fun experiences. Dead Trash especially was way better than I expected it to be. Fear the Spotlight, really good game, really enjoyed it. Again, that's Route A, I'll explain in a minute. Ryder Remastered, one of my games of the year. I didn't play the original version, the PS3 version, but I love this. It was really, really good. And then Fear the Spotlight, Route B. So, they obviously now would only count as one. I didn't realise that Route A, Route B, I thought it was going to be like you play as this character, you play as this character, and it's the same story. I didn't realise it is essentially Route A ends and Route B picks up where it left off. It's a great game. I really, really recommend Fear the Spotlight. But because of this is just my list that I had going anyway, that's why it's on there. But under this year's rules, it would not go on there. Robocop Unfinished Business, yeah, it was pretty cool. Eartheon, great game again, one of my games of the year, and brings me back to the rules. So, I played that on Steam. I want a physical copy on the Mega Drive. I will play that copy, and I will hopefully beat that copy, but it can't go on the list because I played it on PC and it is the same game. So, I will buy it, I will play it, it will go on my sort of list that I keep elsewhere, but it won't count towards this list for the video. And Roger, I wholeheartedly recommend people play that game. It is brilliant. It's heartbreaking. It like proper close to tears playing it. Superb experience. Just one of my games of the year. Clonoa, Door to Phantomile. I've got the sequel to play because I got the box set on PS5. So even though they're both on the same disc, they're two separate games. That's fine. It's decent. Watam, enjoyed that. That was quite fun. Little Nightmares 2, I enjoyed. Wheel World, also enjoyed. Pretty good year. Mind you, I suppose I would have enjoyed it if I finished them. East 9, Monstrum Nox. Okay, cut back to me. So, that is a game that I started in lockdown, like 2020. I don't think it was quite when it came out, but I started it more or less when it came out over here. And I got pretty far, but didn't finish it. I think I just had played quite a lot of East at that point and just needed to stop and move on, and I just didn't have the energy to go back to it. And then when I was going to go back to it, I sort of knew I didn't know where it was, what I was doing. And so I ended up just gritting my teeth and just getting through it. I spent a night a few months back just set up a PlayStation in the bedroom rather than the front room. You don't need to know this detail, but I've got two. And just sort of like, I don't know if I was ill or something like that, and I'm just going to lie in bed and play it. But yeah, great game. I've got East 10 to play at some point. I don't think I'll finish it this year, but I will probably make a start on it this year. Shinobi, fantastic game, really enjoyed it. Blazing Sword, again, video on the channel, enjoyed it a lot. Resident Evil 3 Remake, good game, enjoyed it. Trolley Solution, video on the channel, really good. Enjoyed that a lot. Block, I have no memory of playing this. I don't know what it is. I think it sounds like it should be a puzzle game, but I think it's a Capcom game. I think I got the Capcom arcade bundle thing. There was a Humble bundle. We'll get to that because that's part of the rules. But yeah, I think I played it on that. So I'd never played it before. It was seemingly okay because I finished it. Ghost of Tsushima took me a long time to get through. Enjoyed it. Keeper didn't enjoy that much, but there is a video on the channel. Ball X Pit video on the channel, enjoyed a lot, an awful lot. Actually, it's one of my top 10, I think. Vampire the Masquerade 2, also currently in my top 10. Enjoyed that. No one else did, but I did. Neon Inferno, again, another video on the channel. I also enjoyed that. Horses, video on the channel. No one has watched that video because YouTube age-gated it, so it doesn't show up, so you'd have to go through the channel to find it. Please do, if you want. It's a review rather than just me playing it, so it's actually coherent, more or less. So One Gun Guy, I completed the other night. Again, I had a bit of a slow start, but I've been off work the past couple of days, finished for the year, so I managed to get through that. It's not long, it was free on Steam, it's not long at all. And the Midnight Walk, which I beat today, took a while to... Oh, not a while, but took a bit of time to get through. But yeah, so that's the list. I'm going to get the rules back up. Anything I play that was already on that list won't count. So I can go through I can go through any of them again, but they won't count as beaten on this list. They just won't get added to this list. So there are a couple of rules that aren't in bold on my sheet. They're there basically feeding into the same thing, but they're just extra detail for it, or just to sort of keep me in check, I suppose. And one of them involves the game that is behind me, over my shoulder. Streets of Rage 2. So Streets of Rage 2, it would have been great if it cut to the title screen there, but you'll see it over my head. Streets of Rage 2 is my favourite ever game. Metal Slug second, but Streets of Rage 2, love it. I've beaten that game I don't know how many times, and I'm very, very, I'm still probably pretty decent at it. I could add that to this list straight away. It takes what, hour and 10 minutes or so to get through. It's not a long game. I could easily get through it. On normal, on hard, wouldn't matter. I could do that game. And Streets of Rage 1, similarly, I don't think it's anything like as good. But so as such, because it is a game that I know very well and am very good at, he says so himself. To stop me just kind of tearing through it and adding it to the list, I have to do it properly. So, Streets of Rage 2, which you can see behind me, and Streets of Rage 1, because I'm not as good at that, I don't know it as well, I don't play it as much, it's not as good a game, but if I want to play those two games, I can play them on whatever I want, but if I were to count them on this list, they have to be beaten on real hardware, they have to be beaten on that Mega Drive. That's why it's on behind me anyway. I'm not going to do that with all Mega Drive games or all retro games or anything like that. Like, not everything has to be done on a Saturn or a PlayStation 2 or whatever. Like, I'm not going to hold myself to that, but these games in particular, it's to stop me just sleep moding them or quick saving and just chipping. I'm just a piece of piss. It's to stop that. They need to be played on this. So again, a couple of other sort of soft rules. Arcade games count, and the reason I mention that is, well, it'll come up in a bit, but also, if I were to go to, say, there's a club or an arcade place called the Arcade Club in Bury. I'm in Manchester, and it's just a little bit further north from us. It's a cool place. If I go there and beat 4 or 5 games in an evening, which I don't do very often, I've only been once, but I want to go again. So if I were to go, they would count. They are games I have beaten. It doesn't matter that it's an arcade. It doesn't matter that I don't own it. It doesn't matter that you've got infinite continues. It doesn't matter that I've played it with a friend. So co-op games count. Fighting games count. And I mention them because they're quite short. And you might be able to beat a fighting game in 20 minutes. One character. I don't have to beat it with everyone. They still count, but we'll get to all this. Visual novels count, as do walking simulators, which I know people have views on, but for me, they're still games, they're still an interactive experience, and so therefore they count. And some of my favourite games are visual novels and walking simulators and stuff. So so they count. Things that don't, demos don't, betas don't. So unless it's like a prologue thing that's fairly meaty, you sometimes get them on Steam and it's like a few hours long and all that. So I think like PT you could probably have added because it was a bit of effort to get through. Don't think anyone's going to begrudge you that, but yeah, just because you got to the end of something doesn't mean it counts. I don't think. It's not the point of this. And both of those rules feed into the same thing. Number 4, don't take the piss. So the reason I've put this in is because I have stuff like I said, I mentioned that Capcom Arcade Collection. There are ways to game this. Like the point is to, I've given myself a target of 52, right? An average of a game a week. That doesn't mean that I have to hit that and I have to hit a game a week and at all costs. That's not the point. The point is to make better use of my time, better use of my nights, better use of my evenings, finish stuff I start, that sort of thing. Not just hit this magic number. And I know it's a bit of a messy explanation. I don't know the word I'm going for there. But abstract concept, maybe? But that's what I'm trying to do. So I mentioned the cat games before. They're very short. They're very easy. There's a bunch of them. I don't want to just play them just to go, oh, I've just beaten everything on this. I've got to 20 already. That's not the point. Similarly, I've got some fighting games here. A friend of mine came back from Japan the other week. Brought me a bunch of stuff, but these are some fighting games. So we got Real Bout Fatal Fury, which actually probably is quite difficult to beat. SNK games and all that. Alpha 2, Street Fighter Alpha 2 or Street Fighter Zero 2, and Marvel vs. Street Fighter. So all of these are eminently beatable in a day. Shouldn't take a full day to beat any of them. I've got a bunch of fighting games. I've got a bunch of arcade collections, stuff like that. I could get to 52 in a weekend if I really wanted to. Like, it's not, getting to 52 is not difficult. It's how you do it, I think. And like I said, it's not to make it as difficult as possible, but it's to do it in the right way and to do it for the right reasons, which is to make better use of my time. Which brings me to rule 5. So, there are certain games I have had hanging over me for a very long time. And like I said, we mentioned East 9 before, so as an example, that would be one of those. And I've ticked it off. That's great. Really pleased. Some others I need to get rid of. And they're not all... Some of them are DLC. Some of them are huge games. Some of them not. Some of them I'm probably fairly close to the end. Some of them aren't even that good. But I want to tick them off. There's 7 games I've listed. I need to beat 5 of them. I'm going to aim to do all 7, but 5 I figure is a tenth of the list if I want to do it, roughly a tenth of the list. So, worth going for, a good number to pick. Game 1, doesn't have to be in this order, but Game 1, Witcher 3, Blood and Wine. So it's DLC. I sort of started it. I remember getting to a town or something. It's very bright and colourful and all this. But that was a long time ago. I need to get back to it. I need to finish it. I can turn all the ray tracing and shit on. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it done. I loved The Witcher 3. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, who fucking didn't, right? But I loved it. Great game. Want to get back to it. Can't believe I haven't finished the DLC because I must have put the better part of 180 hours or something into that game. Loved it. Same company, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty. I beat Cyberpunk. I have not finished the DLC. I'm not that far into it. I, again, have a fancy new graphics card, so I can put the path tracing on. It does work. I have tried it. Get some frame gen in there as well. So I'm going to try and play that. It actually is the thing I'm sort of tempted to. Ideally, was the game that I just want to go, right, I'll just play that day one. Let's just play that. Very much ready to get back to that. Game 3. Shin Megami Tensei 5. I love Shin Megami Tensei 5. I love Shin Megami Tensei. Full stop. I love Shin Megami stuff. I haven't beaten that many of them, though, because they get quite long and quite hard. I also toyed with... I've forgotten the name. Whatever. So I've got it on the Switch. It's the original version. It's not the remastered one that they did. I think, from what I'm told, I'm relatively close to the end. I'm in this bit where it's weirdly hard. Really, really hard. I need to activate some stuff. I think I managed to get to one of them, maybe? I don't know. My understanding is you get that bit done and then you're towards the end game. From what a friend told me, and he said he also struggled at that bit. So that's just normal, and I just need to sit and play. That's one that that might be one that's difficult to do, but I would like to just sit and do it. It's where my commute might come in. The next game. This actually has a bit of a ticking clock on it, and it's Anthem. So, Anthem is, I don't think, a good game. Very bullet spongy, so it's just, I don't really like it. But they're turning the servers off. In my head, they would turn them off, like, I don't know, August or something. I had plenty of time to do this. I Googled it before, and it's like, I think it's like January the 12th or something, right? It's really soon. So my ease into the year, I'll play Cyberpunk, I'll play all this stuff I want to play. No, I need to play fucking Anthem. So I've got to get Anthem done. I'm hoping I can talk a mate into joining me on it. I don't think I can. But, yeah, Anthem needs to be played. Because I don't know what happens when they turn the servers off. I might never be able to get to play it, to finish it. The next game, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. I don't love this. I really like Dragon Quest, but I don't love this game particularly. And I've reached a point in it where there's like, I fall down, I go into this pyramid and you fall down and there's poison everywhere. I feel like I shouldn't be there. I don't feel prepared for it, so I either need to grind or I'm missing something, so I need to go and read a guide and see what I'm supposed to have done. But going backwards on a guide is hard. Looking at the length of it, it might even be better to just start again. But that I don't know. We'll see how far in I am. I don't think that's going to be the best solution. I think it might just be a bit difficult that bit. But yeah, I'll try and get through it. Again, it's something where my commute might help. One that I actually do want to play, and I've toyed with starting the last couple of Halloweens, is Alan Wake 2. Got it on PS5. Really want to play it. I've got a nice new OLED that I bought this year. Would I think that'll look good on that? So yeah, I will. That's one to play that I'm actually looking forward to. And one that I'm not looking forward to, but I'm about 2/3 through. I'm only going to do one run of this, I think. But the Alone in the Dark remake, reimagining, whatever you want to call it, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's all right actually, but I just got what I wanted from it, I suppose, and I'm not really itching to go back to it. Don't think I'm going to do the second run. If I did, it wouldn't count anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I think I can do that though. I don't think it's too. I think that's just a case of sitting down and doing it, just spending a day on it and finishing it, or a weekend on it. I don't think there's that much left to do. So there's probably a bunch of other games that I'd like to tick off, but those are the ones that I want to do, and I want to do at least 5 of the 7. Anthem is the most pressing one currently, as much as Phantom Liberty is probably the one that I want to play. The next question: how am I going to do this? So I mentioned that the issue I've got is that I don't focus when I get in. My time gets eaten up doing other things, particularly if I want to exercise as well. Yeah, I get home. It takes me 2 hours to get home, give or take. Hour to cook and eat, or hour and a half to cook and eat. Sit down for a bit, then maybe go and exercise. That's my night gone, right? So I need to make better use of things. So stuff like the Steam Deck is going to be a lifesaver. I can play stuff in bed if needs be. I've set up a PlayStation in my bedroom, which is I'm not proud of that, but it means I could have something on the go in there rather than having to sit in the couch here. So just for comfort, or just like, okay, I can play for 20 minutes, then just sleep mode and go to bed, rather than in here. Obviously, desktop is here, PC. This is where I'm going to play. My commute. So as much as I don't want to fritter away the nights, the commute is dead time, right? I'm just staring out of a window listening to music, so I need to make the most of that. That is where the Switch could come in. So you've got Dragon Quest and you've got Shin Megami and potentially other stuff as well. There's other things I've got here that I could tick off. And this does it sort of contradict something I've already said. I bought one of these. It's the if you've not don't know what these are, it's a handheld console. Blaze make it, and it takes Everday it takes Evercade carts, but it's this one's preloaded with a bunch of SNK games. And so while I said I don't want to do loads of arcade games and stuff, I don't feel too bad about doing that because it's at least filling my commute. I'm not wasting the time, so that's fine. The reason the Steam Deck isn't included in this is my works laptop is heavier than the sun. It is so heavy, and I used to take my Steam Deck and I played through Penny's Big Adventure, I think it was called. I don't know if that's what it was called, but I played through a few things. I used to play a lot of Blatro on it, Vampire Survivors and stuff on the way to work and on the way home. But it's just that is heavy. The Steam Deck's relatively heavy anyway, but the laptop with the Steam Deck and like a drink and stuff like that in my bag, like, nah. So, yeah, so Steam Deck will have its uses, but I think I need smaller things to take with me, lighter things to take with me. Potentially the DS. This cabinet here is full of DS and 3DS games. Potentially they start getting used. I've got a Neo Geo Pocket down there, which I could maybe play some actual stuff. A little less doable because I don't know if you could save. Whatever. But yeah, so there's things I can do. But largely it is getting home and playing stuff and just being a bit sensible about what I do and focusing and trying to tick away stuff. So I beat 40 games this year. It's not inconceivable I can go and beat another 12, right? So we're going to try and do it. Problems. Things that are going to make it easier and harder. So the commute we've talked about. I work 3 days in the office. If I were to go down to 2 days in the office, I wish, then that would make things a lot easier. If I were to go up to 4 days or 5 days in the office, I would quit. But also would make it, which would make it easier actually if I quit. But the actual 5 days in the office, that commute is, I couldn't do this. I wouldn't have the time to do. The channel would stop and all this sort of stuff. It's too much. Were I to get a different job, that might ease things. My commute wouldn't be as long. So would go. It could go either way. It can make it a lot easier, a lot harder. Private life, personal life. Obviously, I'm not going to go into details on here or anything, but stuff like going out, it costs a lot of money to go out nowadays. Like on a night out, I had a spell a few years ago. I was out a couple of times a week. It was great. Can't do that anymore. So theoretically, I have more time. So I'm going to be here playing video games. Out with friends, though, if that happens, partners, going to gigs, going to shows, whatever, all that sort of stuff will eat into this sort of time, right? And I do the channel as well. So again, that's the other part of it, is that I want to keep the channel going in the way it is. Like it's been doing, I've been pretty good after being less reliable for ages and ages. I'd do a few videos, then I'd forget, I wouldn't have time for a bit. I've been more diligent with it. I've been working on it. I've been making sure I get stuff up. Hit and miss as to whether anyone watches stuff, but I've been making a point of doing it. I want to keep that going. So these videos are going to be extra, essentially. So if I've played something interesting, an indie game or a small game or just a game that's just come out or something like that, I still want to do videos on that. The retro stuff, Dreamcast Roulette, even though no one watches it, do that still. The odd Saturn game, Mega Drive game, PS2 game, whatever it is. And this will just be at the end of each month or the start of the month or whatever. Here's what I've beaten. So I guess it'd be the start to look at the previous month. But here's what I've beaten, and ideally have a bit of footage captured. I've bought some stuff to make that a bit easier, like a large SD card, a large flash drive, to just sort of pull some stuff on. I've been using it recently. I've been getting into a better workflow for editing video and going and using that as part of my sort of weekend to go and have a break away from the flat and all that sort of stuff and go out, sit and have a drink, maybe meet friends, but do some editing before I meet them or something. So yeah, those sorts of things, just making it part of my routine. Exciting stuff. So that's how it's going to be sort of easier or harder potentially. I just need to, largely boils down to make better use of my time, better use of the facilities I've got, handhelds and things like that. Focus and still just try and keep stuff up and keep working on things. Yeah, hopefully. And so the format of the videos themselves will take the style of a bit like this, hopefully a bit more focused of, this is what I've played, this is what I've beaten, here's some footage of everything, and as the list goes down we'll add to it. I'm going to try and pretty up the list, and this is January, and maybe pull stats, this is how many I beat, this is how many I played, all that sort of stuff. We'll see. I don't know. That's the format, and the point is, like I said, to get to 52, but it's not necessarily to stop at 52. So if I can do more, great. What you may see is that it starts with a few, because I've got one. Burning Rangers will probably be the first game that I beat, because I need to finish that Let's Play, and the first is probably my last chance to do that, or the weekend, I suppose, after that. Get a video up for that. So that will probably be the first one or thereabouts. Stuff that I've bought over in Steam sales, stuff like that will be in there. Anything that I'm close to beating. There'll probably be at least one more game this year. Yeah. So, yeah, well, so you may see that a few of them get added in January, but then, I don't know, April or something like that, I start some giant fucking Yakuza game or something, and then don't beat anything all month, and yeah, I'll beat one thing. So that tends to be how my gaming year sort of plays out. And yeah, so we'll see. I'm not going to try and avoid things just because they're long, nor play stuff just because they're short. That is not, it's not what I would do now, so it's not what I'm going to do in the future, but it will be interesting to see how this affects what I play, if it affects what I play, and yeah, whether I don't pick anything up because I've got too much on or something like that. So we'll see. Hopefully this is interesting. Hopefully this video itself was interesting, but hopefully as a video series it's interesting. If it is, like, subscribe, blah blah blah, I'll make it a playlist. So you, I don't know how you. I think you can subscribe to them. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I don't just get bored of this and stop doing it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good 2026.